First and foremost, I want to give all glory, honor, and praise to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles, elders, and bishops of Great Millstone who rule well over the flock. Shalom and salutation to you, Akim, that's pushing the words of truth and sincerity. And shalom to all the elect Akim and Aqua, scattered Israelites, Israelite foreigners about this video is edifying. I'm Rapal Mouth, and the subject is, and all of a sudden, right? Because the scriptures tell us about things happening suddenly, sudden destructions happening. That earthquake that just hit New York was sudden. And the last one, I believe, I was there for. I didn't feel it myself, but my grandmother felt it. I think it was around 2013. So earthquakes don't happen there too often. Correct me if I'm wrong, but there was one around that time. And I tried to make this on StreamYard and go live with it, Salakia, but my internet keeps kicking me out. So for that reason, I'm just going to upload it straight from my phone. And I'm starting off with this precept here, just concerning quickly about the earthquake. It reminds me rather, that there were events in the scriptures that dealt with earthquakes that are like phenomenons, rarely occurring events. Now, earthquakes happen all the time, and we do know that leading up to Yahweh Shah's return, there will be various earthquakes in diverse places, along with other signs. But Deuteronomy 11:6 talks about a certain type of earthquake that happened. They didn't see what he did to Dathan and Abiram, the sons of Eliab, a descendant of Reuben, when the earth opened its mouth in the Israelite camp and swallowed them, along with their household and tents and every living thing that belongeth to them. But you have seen the Lord perform all these mighty deeds with your own eyes. All right, so there's a situation in which the Lord opened up the earth and swallowed up men in it. So you can see the serious power and might and just ability to really use any instrument of death he wants to. There's a scripture, I think it's Jeremiah, where it says, Jeremiah 15, I believe, dogs to tear and the sword to slay, and right. So the Most High will use creatures and demons alike and to plague people, right? Think about the 10 plagues on the time of Egypt. Well, in this particular situation, Dathan, Abiram, and their families were swallowed up. I believe it's somewhere around 38 and 28 to 38,000 Israelites, all in an instant, swallowed up into the earth. It just made that earthquake made me think of this scripture. Acts 16:26. Suddenly there was a massive earthquake, and the prison was shaken to its foundation. All the doors immediately flew open, and the chains of every prisoner fell off. So we have a situation here in which the Most High caused the earthquake to free prisoners out of Peter, I believe, out of jail. You see? And so it's not just that, the Most High can use certain, the same thing as for a miracle that he can use for a destructive force. So there's a balance to that. I just wanted to bring that out in lieu of the earthquake that just hit New York. But I wanted to really touch on what I found concerning the MOTB and then get into a little bit of that. This is an article that I came across, and they got a nice little lovely video here, which is probably about 5 minutes. Let me just play this real quick. The article is called The Rise of M. Chippin, right? Our favorite topic here at GMS, one of our favorite prophecies next to Yahweh Shah's return. One of the major prophecies, right? In this time we live in. So let me play this audio here, and then we'll go ahead and read a little bit into it.
Monday, and it's time to talk technology, and our tech expert, Luis Alvarez, joining us here on Power Talk Radio. Hello, Luis.
Good morning, Mark. How are you?
Doing pretty good. So there's an old saying, hey, I've got money in hand, and and now with technology, that really can be true, because there is a British-Polish company that has a way of putting money in your hand, not in the traditional way, but in a whole new way. And it's got a lot of people talking. What do you know about this?
Yeah, this is something that's been in the works for a few years. It's kind of I wouldn't call it the holy grail, but a natural advancement of the way that we pay for things. And this company has developed a microchip. Weighs less than a gram. It's smaller than a grain of rice, and they can implant it in your hand using local anesthetic. So they claim that it's not painful at all. But the idea behind it is that it will let you go to the checkout line, for example, or to any device that uses Google Pay or Samsung. Those near field NFC ability to use your smartphone for contactless payment. This chip does the same thing. So in essence, you just hold your hand over that reader, and voila, you can pay up. And so the idea is to take the smartphone out of the equation so that you don't have to carry anything. You just have to pay with that chip.
Well, not only take the smartphone out of the equation, but your credit cards, you don't have to carry those anymore.
Yeah, no credit cards, no debit cards. All of that stuff is, in the chip itself. Now, I suspect, even though the story doesn't specifically mention it, that you will need your smartphone to be able to pick the credit card that you're going to pay with, because there's no other way to do it. I'm sure there's a link there somehow, but just the idea that you can now use a chip implanted in your hand to pay for things. It's being tested in Europe, but I'm sure it works. It's going to come to the U.S. pretty quickly.
So you wave your hand over something, and all of a sudden it goes from whatever the balance is to zero. That's
exactly
crazy. Okay.
Yeah.
But I'm not convinced. I don't know that I want a chip in my hand, but that's me. I'm an old school kind of guy, but I'm sure that there's some young folks that are just busting to adopt it.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That's Luis Alvarez, CEO of the Alvarez Technology Group. Online, alvareztg.com, at alvareztg. That's their.
All right, Con. So the article is called "The Rise of Microchipping." The chip in hand implants that let you pay with your hands, right? And they pretty much go over everything that they spoke about is inside this article. I'm going to go ahead and go to the next article. This one's called "From Progress to Bans: How Close Are Human M-Chipping Implants?" A lot has happened in the past 12 months regarding human M-chip implants. I'll just say C-hip chip implants. Here are your roundup of recent developments. A headline from The Hill in January 23 proclaimed human microchip. You just can't get away with reading it sometimes and just saying the word. So Salaki. Implants take center stage. Here's how the article begins. And the main reason why we anyway code it in the first place is because Esau got all these algorithms that just pick up on us saying the word, and then they try to ban or shadow ban the videos. Anyways, back to the article. The novelty of replacing one's home key with a C-hip implant is gaining worldwide interest, but there's another more compelling story under the surface. Why is this technology, an integrated circuit the size of a grain of rice, reviled by so many and celebrated by self-proclaimed human cyborgs? Arguably, Shakespeare's Hamlet offers the most elegant explanation. Nothing neither good nor bad, but thinking makes it so. Nothing is neither good or bad, but thinking makes it so. That's an old Stoic saying as well. However, it would be prudent to tell Prince Hamlet that not all MC-hip implants are designed alike, and understanding the technological designs enables one to better evaluate the competing viewpoints. Today, more than 50,000 people have elected to have a subdermal chip surgically inserted between the thumb and the index finger and serve as a new spike key or credit card. In Germany, for example, more than 2,000 Germans have opted to receive these implants. One man even used it to store a link to his last will and testament. As chip technologies storage capacities increases, perhaps users could even link to the complete works of Shakespeare. All right, so this article goes into it again, and then to show you many articles that they've made concerning this topic. Again, I got a few articles here. I just wanted to run through them. This is from the BBC, the C-hip implant that lets you play with your hand. Nope. Let's get out of there. This is because the 37-year-old doesn't need to use a bank card or his mobile pay phone to pay. Instead, he simply places his left hand near the contactless card reader and the payment goes through. The reactions I get from the cashiers are priceless. Mr. Pullman, a security guard from says Mr. Pullman, a security guard from the Netherlands. He's able to pay using his hand because back in 2019 he had a contactless payment C-hip injected under his skin. The procedure hurts as much as when somebody pinches your skin. All right, talking about the procedure. That's his hand lighting up when he puts that signal on it. Talks about the first C-hip implanted back in 1998. And it goes into that British-Polish firm again. So this is it. This is the C-hip technology that's biblical prophecy, leading up to biblical prophecy and the coming and return of our Savior Yahushua. For many of us, the idea of having such a chip implanted in our body is an appalling one, but a 2021 survey of more than 4,000 people across the UK and the European Union found that 51% would consider it. Another article, before I get into the scriptures, of course, back in the day, you remember why most of Three Square Market's employees jumped at the chance to wear a C-hip. And then just wanted to say the key points here. 50 of the 80 employees at Three Square Market, a provider of self-service break room vending machines, voluntarily agreed to be C-hipped. It really doesn't hurt at all, CEO Todd Whitby told CNBC. A future version of the C-hip could include GPS, and if employees leaves the company, it wouldn't be removed. So there we have it, all 4 articles and updates on the C-hip, videos and whatnot, right? All in lieu of this eclipse coming and the signs from heaven, and in lieu of the earthquake that hit New York City. All of these things is just unraveling. And when you go to Bible Hub and you click on Revelations 13:16, and then you go to a section called COM, that stands for commentary, you come across this page, and this page leads you to a few commentary sections. And I'm just going to go through reading a few of them. So this says here, the power of evil also has its mark or stamp. As slaves received a brand or mark in their flesh betokening to whom they belonged, so in the spiritual conflict there is on the side of good and of evil a brand or mark. All right, so it's dealing with slavery, enslavement. Let's see here. It says, in the same way of the subtle false prophet, the abettor of the world power seeks to impress a mark on all. Why they say abettor of the world power? Or, they're going into Antichrist, but we know the world powers is the beast system, NATO and the EU, along with America. It says seeks to impress a mark on all on the penalty of complete social exclusion. So this is what you're going to have to deal with for a period of time in refusing that MOTB. And this is why we understand that, I brought out the article before. It says 50 to 80% of people took the C-hip at Three Square Market business, because it's a form of social exclusion when you don't have it. When you don't do what the Romans are doing, you are now socially unsocializable, or changing your social status, so to speak. You are becoming socially excluded. All right, and you cannot buy or sell now, so it has life implications. It says it is utterly unnecessary to take this brand of evil literally. So they think this guy is actually for it being a spiritual mark, which you have a lot of those guys out there, even amongst Israel, who believe that it's a spiritual mark. All right. But we know that, through the understanding of the charagma and the cutting, the word and the stigma word, that it's actually physical, and the buying and selling is all implies that it's a physical mark. All right. Let's see here. I want to get something good because I know it's a few of them that are really good. Line one is power to make an image. Healed. All right. Man, keep going down. All right. Let's see the mark. All right. They go into the word charagma here. Mark charagma. Graven. It's rendered. Certain books graven, like a graven image, graved, engraved, sculpture, something graven or sculptured, cut. Okay, mark, cut in. And that mark designates you a possession or a slave now. So it says here, repeating what we read earlier. Applied to people, it was used to denote some stamp or mark on the hand or elsewhere, as in the case of a servant on whose hand or arm the name of the master was impressed, or of a soldier on whom some mark was impressed denoting the company or phalanx to which he belonged. It was no uncommon thing to mark slaves or soldiers in this way. Excuse me. It says, and the design was either to denote their ownership or rank, or to prevent their escaping as so not to be detected. All right, most of us have seen such marks made on the hands or arms of sailors, in which by voluntary tattooing, their names or their names of their vessels were written, or the figure of an anchor or some other device was inevitably made by punctures in the skin and by inserting some kind of coloring matter. The thing which it is here said was engraven on the hand or the forehead was the name of the beast and the number of his name. So this is the C hip, and any type of C hip that they have, which Neuralink is the present day C hip for the forehead. All right. It always goes back into the idea of soldiers voluntarily puncture their arms with the marks of generals under whom they serve. So it's a service mark. All right. It's a service mark. And this is where I was looking for here. It says votaries of idols branded themselves with the idol's cipher or symbol. So different idols had different symbols. Thus, Antiochus Epiphanes branded the Jews with the ivy leaf, the symbol of Bacchus. All right. Second Maccabees 6 and 7. Third Maccabees 2 and 29. All right. So you see here plenty of times throughout history, you had this mark being placed upon slaves. Right. It goes back to Rome again. It says to receive a mark in their right hand. Reading from right here, or in their foreheads, or that they might give themselves marks, as the Complutensian edition reads, which is an allusion either to the custom among the Romans of imprinting marks upon their servants and soldiers, by which they might be known to whom they belonged. Servants had them in their foreheads and soldiers in their hands. Yeah, man. So it's coming. It's coming. It's big. It's a big deal. And it's needed because that's what's going to usher in the Yahushua to come and deliver us. So what I'm reading again is Revelations 13 to 16, and he calls it for all that he's that beast system. NATO and EU, again, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. And 16 tells you about the that no man might buy or sell, save that he had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the numbers of his name. Showing you that it's gonna have an effect of that you won't be able to buy and sell. Right here, it says also by allowing none to enjoy natural or civil rights, who will not worship the beast, that beast, which is the image of the pagan beast, which we know they got that wrong. That beast is the NATO and the EU. right? An actual living government. It is made a qualification for buying and selling, as well as for places of profit and trust, that they oblige themselves to use all their interest, power, and endeavor to forward the dominion of the beast, which is meant by receiving his mark. All right. So that's how you worship the beast. Receive that mark. Okay. Requiring obedience, giving form and power to his worship. You got to be in formation. You got to line up and get these mandated C-hips. All right. All right. And we all know you'll be destroyed if you take them. So you'll actually have to just, the spirit has to be on you to fight against taking that, even if it means up unto death. So I'll leave it there. I'll be right this video. Is that fine? Until next time. Shalom.